All right, welcome to video number 3 in our series about how to help your kids with money. Officially titled 5 Ways to Help Young People Get a Successful Start with Money.
Yep.
So the first 2 videos we talked in general about your perspective as a young person. Today, we want to talk about 5 very specific things that will get your kids off to a very successful start with money. So let's get started, Ben. Number 1, very important, do this with your kids. Teach them how to do it. Learn how to do it if you don't know yourself, but set goals with your kids. Teach them how to set short-term goals with their money. And you had a great experience you were talking about with your very first employer. Tell us about that. How did it go?
Yeah, so for me, what really helped was sitting down, as you mentioned with my last employer, they sat down and said, you know, what are your goals, your financial goals? The way we looked at it was like a 6-month outlook, 1 year, and 5-year outlook. We looked at kind of the major purchases I wanted to be making in that time frame. So do I want to buy a car? Do I want to buy a house? Will I be getting married? Different things that you can be thinking about that you're going to have a major expense in that time period, or even things that you want to buy. Yeah. The next thing is like, what am I going to be doing in that time period? What is going to be my job? Am I going to be running my own business? What are the other things that I'm going to be doing to make our money? And then also, how much income am I realistically going to be making during that time period? And once you kind of start framing your goals in that way, it really helps you start actually putting together a plan, and helps you see how important it is to get started and control your money early.
Absolutely. That's a great start. I remember when I graduated college and I went into the military and finally started making money, I couldn't believe that I still didn't have any money at the end of the month. It didn't go as far as I thought I would be rich, you do everything you want, but that would bring clarity. I mean, setting those goals like you did brings clarity to right now for young people. I think that's awesome.
Exactly.
So number 2, get an understanding and get a spending plan. This is really, really important for all of us, and it's important for small businesses, large businesses, to know where your money goes, because again, this is one of those things that'll get away from you.
Exactly.
And getting good habit patterns early on is hugely important to take with you the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to kind of owning your cash flow, owning your bank account. I know for young people, a lot of times when you get money, you just want to spend it immediately. And now we're using cards so much, our money can just get away from us. So. One way that I would like to do that is I actually can print out, my weekly or monthly statements from my bank and say, wow, this is where my money is going to. I know we have subscription services and things like that now that just automatic withdraw our money. So it's hard to actually know where our money is going. So look at that, own your bank account, know where it's all going, put together a spending plan.
Absolutely.
Especially for young people, definitely would help.
Yeah. The last couple of things to say on this. This is a big one because when you have your spending under control, you will live within your means. And something I read the other day that struck a note with me was, don't let your possessions possess you. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get that little out of control, and money sometimes rules us versus the other way. This is a great start to preventing that from ever happening. So that's a good one. Not easy, but a good one. Number 3, communicate with your kids. And we talk about this, and it sounds so easy. Of course we do. But when we say communicate, man, we really mean, come to your kids from a place of vulnerability. Hey, approach it in a humble way. Hey, I made some mistakes as a young person, and I really want you to, not make the same mistakes. I want you to learn from me. Or something not so preachy. Otherwise, you're going to be turned off immediately. And I think that, again, from a sincere attitude, would help you get your message across. Because if we don't communicate to our kids about money, there will be misunderstandings and there will be bad lessons learned because they're just all they have now is a perception, and that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think as a young adults, we need a why behind the things that are going on in our lives, especially when it comes to finances. It still is such kind of a big topic that we don't understand at all. We need to know why our parents are making these decisions, because you're the only ones that we have to really learn from.
For sure. Number 4, and this one is powerful, It is start your kids' savings early. In
Yeah.
other words, invest early.
Yeah.
And this is what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. I believe it was Einstein anyway. Compound interest and how this works.
Yeah.
And so we've got a slide here that we're looking at. We took this off of Vanguard's website. You can find these anywhere. But Ben, what motivated me as a young person was when I saw this chart of, you mean to tell me if I start saving at age 20 or 25, I save for about 10 years, and then I stop saving, the person that starts saving at 35 will never catch up to me. And that's kind of what this slide shows. It says, if you start saving at age 25 to age 40, you save $150,000. By the time you're age 65 at about a 6% rate of return, that's what this chart is based on, you're going to have a little over $1 million. Now, let's take the person that starts saving at age 35 to 65. They save twice as much money, and at age 65, they only have, $800,000, or a little over $800,000.
It honestly is unbelievable.
It is. Yeah, and so that's what motivated me to, as soon as I possibly could, and there'll be times when you won't be able to, to start saving something. That's hugely important.
Yeah, I know. Looking at this, it kind of made me think of a Warren Buffett quote. Of course, it's just what is this dollar that I'm spending going to be worth when I'm 65 and retiring? Right. It can definitely help you put it in perspective. Is this purchase really worth it? Because if I save this, it really is going to pay off in the long run. That definitely made me think twice about buying, the nicest car I could or nicest house or whatever. It definitely can put that into perspective. Should awesome. I make this purchase?
Yep, that's great. And there's two last things I'll leave with that, and that is, if you're going to use a savings vehicle, the Roth IRA, and for young people, even the Roth 401k, cannot be beat. Okay, so for taxation purposes, those are awesome. And it gives you some flexibility as a young person, because in an emergency or a career change or something, you can actually have access to that money, the money that you put in anyway, without penalty. Number 5, the last one today, we talked a little bit about communicating with your kids. This one is about parents communicating with each other. What is your plan for how you're going to teach your kids about money? What are your values surrounding money? Because this is something that couples don't talk about, and they should talk about it. Yeah. You made a great point that I'll let you elaborate on in a second, but it was, how much do we want to support our kid through high school, through college? What about after college? What are we going to do? What are we going to do if they hit hard times after high school, college, working? How are we going to help? Are we going to help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one thing that's kind of put in my perspective as I've been spending money and expensing everything for myself is I think back and my parents helped me so much, and it was such a drag on their their lifestyle, their income, and I you start to feel bad once you start paying for everything on your own. Yeah. And I just think it'd be very important, especially to help you think about how to approach your children and talk with them and communicate and teach them. Would be, what are your goals as parents? When you want to retire, paying for my things for my parents, if they keep paying for my things, are they going to even be able to retire? I hope so. But so definitely, I think it would be a really important thing for parents to do is just know their goals and use that as a way to kind of approach the subject with your children and help to get them on the path to financial independence.
That's awesome. All right, Ben, so real quick before we wrap up, we're going to summarize. Number 1, set goals. Set your goals. And your kids, help them. Spending plan. We all should have a spending plan. We don't use the B word, the budgeting word around here. So spending plan, it's really important for habit patterns and happiness with money, quite honestly. Communicate with your kids, hugely important. Do that with an attitude of humility. And start saving early. You can see the power of that compound interest. It's unbelievable. And then number 5, think about your financial goals as parents and communicate that with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we appreciate you watching this. Hopefully it's been beneficial. Please reach out to us. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, leadingedgeplanning.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your inputs.
Thanks, everyone.